ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा। भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
भारतीय संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा। ज्ञान और विज्ञान यहीं से सबने पाया सारा, सबने पाया सारा। कुछ भूलों से हारा फिर से जीते देश हमारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
शील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी। वैज्ञानिकता विनय सभ्यता स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी, स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी। देशभक्ति में तेजस्वी हो फिर समाज यह सारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
महावीर गोविंद शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे। परंपरा की पुण्य चेतना उर में हम सब धारे, उर में हम सब धारे। बाल हृदय में उसे जगाकर जगे देश यह सारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
समर्थ बनाओ, बंधु भाव समता ममता से सबको गले लगाओ, सबको गले लगाओ। चलो विवेकानंद मार्ग पर शुभ संदेश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, 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 गीता परिवार हमारा।
अधरं मधुरं वदनं मधुरं नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरं हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरम्।
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं, मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्।
वचनं मधुरं चरितं मधुरं वसनं मधुरं वलितं मधुरं चलितं मधुरं भ्रमितं मधुरम्।
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं, मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्।
वेणुर्मधुरो रेणुर्मधुराः पाणिर्मधुराः पादौ मधुरौ नृत्यं मधुरं सख्यं मधुरम्।
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं, मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्।
गीतं मधुरं पीतं मधुरं भुक्तं मधुरं सुप्तं मधुरं रूपं मधुरं तिलकं मधुरम्।
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं, मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्।
तरणं मधुरं तरणं मधुरं हरणं मधुरं स्मरणं मधुरं वमितं मधुरं शमितं मधुरम्।
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं, मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्।
कुञ्जा मधुरा माला मधुरा यमुना मधुरा वीथी मधुरा सलिलं मधुरं कमलं मधुरम्।
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं,
मुक्तं मधुरं दृष्टं मधुरं शिष्टं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गोपा मधुरा गावो मधुरा यष्टिर्मधुरा सृष्टिर्मधुरा दलितं मधुरं फलितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
रघुबर विमल जसु जो दायक फलचारी। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि करहु कलेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर। रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी। कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा गानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा। हाथ वज्र औ ध्वजा विराजय कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजय। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सिंहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे। लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई। सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा। जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा। तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज समारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै। नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावै। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै। चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नो निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै। अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरई हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़ हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। रन सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारी। बरन रघुबर विमल जसु जो दायक फलचारी। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि करहु कलेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर। रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी। कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा गानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा। हाथ वज्र औ ध्वजा विराजय कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजय। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सिंहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे। लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई। सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा। जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा। तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज समारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै। नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावै। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै। चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा, साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नो निधि के दाता, असबर दीन जानकी माता, राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै, अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्तन धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई, संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा, जो सुमिरई हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई, जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़ हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरन, मंगल मूर्ति रूप, राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुर भूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
Jai Shri Krishna. In Zoom meeting, if you want to turn off the notification of Zoom chats, then click on the chats and then click on these three dots. Turn off notifications, click on that. Click on the mute option and now chats notification will not disturb you. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna to all our sadhakas. Shri Krishna Vande Jagadguru. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā is not only a scripture but a life guide. Maline mochanam pumsa jalasnanam dine dine. Sakrut Gita amritasnanan samsara malanashanam. This is a shloka from Gita Mahatmyam that says a single bath in the Gita Amrita completely destroys the dirt of the material existence, this samsara. It is indeed a true blessing to learn the Gita from the Gita Pariwar. This organization, which is a divine gift, is the inspired creation and vision of our Paramapujya Swamiji Acharya Govind Dev Giriji Maharaj. The weekend sessions complement the Gita memorization by expanding our knowledge and providing the means to internalize the teachings, thereby ensuring a complete life transformation. Today we are having the fourth interpretation session on the 18th Adhyaya of Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. A request before we get going, we saw that small video also. Since we are all connected to the internet, there will be some issues, technical issues, right? If you face any such issues during the session, please try one of these following steps. If you're not getting any sound, try to use the headphones or increase the volume of your phone or computer. If the chat box is blinking continuously, tap the bell icon at the right corner to mute the notifications. And if the voice is breaking or cutting, check your internet connections. If possible, switch to Wi-Fi instead of the mobile data. If the screen is not visible, please click on the start video in the Zoom. If the screen is blurry, this could happen if the internet speed is low. Then you can try to switch to your network or move to a different location in your house or wherever you're joining this session from. If Zoom suddenly closes, rejoin using the meeting link. If Zoom keeps disconnecting, we have the option always. You can watch the session via the YouTube live link. As the saying goes, Tena vina trunamapi na chalati. So let us start by praying to the Bhagavan to seek his blessings. To recite the Prarthana, we have Srimati Preeti Kumarji with us. Preeti Kumarji is a teacher and homemaker from Bengaluru, Karnataka. Associated with Gita Pariwar since May 2023, Preeti ji is offering seva as a CT, tech star, and also as a group coordinator. Preeti ji, Didi, Jai Shri Krishna. I request you
Jai
to
Shri
recite.
Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna. वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णौ वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णौ वन्दे जगद्गुरुं. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you so much, Preeti ji, Didi, for the beautiful prayer. Yes, now let us do the Deepa Prajvala. Let us ward off the tamas in and around with the Jyoti. Yes, to do the Prarthana, to do the Deepa Prajvalan, we have Srimati P. Lakshmi ji with us. Lakshmi ji is a teacher and a homemaker from Hyderabad. Didi ji is doing seva as a CT and tech star. I request Lakshmi ji to do the Deepa Prajvalan.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तर् स्फुरश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृतां कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदां नुमः.
Thank you, Lakshmi Ji Didi, for the beautiful Deepa Prajwalan. We got to see your puja place and you did the Naivedya, Arati, everything. Thank you so much, Didi Ji. Now, before we get started, a quick announcement. L1 grammar sessions are scheduled for tomorrow in various languages. Either you can attend at either at 9 a.m. IST or 11 a.m. IST, depending on the language of your choice. So this will help us to understand the fundamental grammatical aspects of Samskrita language relevant to Gita chanting. And the celebration of Gita Jayanti, which is held annually on the Shukla Ekadashi of Margashira Masa, is being marked by Gita Pariwar with a special Divine Mahotsav from today, that is November 15th to December 31st. Arambhotsava was held today on the auspicious day of Utpanna Ekadashi with Sampurna Parayana. Another Parayana is scheduled to start from 7:30 tonight. We can join the festivities by hosting local events such as Gita Parayan, Shobha Yatra, quiz, painting, drawing competition, and logging them on the official online portal geetajayanti.com. Also, please plan on being a part of Gita Parivar's online Gita Parayanas as well. Now it is time for the most awaited part of the session, Vivechan by the blessed soul who has made recitation of the complete Bhagavad Gita a part of his daily life. Respected Shri Vikas Vaidya Bhayaji. Vikas Vaidya ji is a versatile achiever. He masters both the business world and the spiritual path. A global citizen shaped by 12 years abroad, this engineer holding BE and PG DBM, that is the postgraduate diploma in management and BE in mechanical degrees, currently manages a thriving IT firm in Pune. He is a polyglot with command over Hindi, Marathi, English, Indonesian, Malaysian, and Spanish, just to name a few. He exemplifies the ideal spiritual practice, ensuring seva, sadhana, and satsang, the three fundamental pillars of the spiritual sadhana. They are all perfectly balanced. As a deeply committed spiritual practitioner, he has achieved the notable feat of memorizing the entire Bhagavad Gita, for which he was awarded first prize by Paramapuja Guruji of Sringeri Matha. Daily recitation of the entire Gita, it's a practice that he has been maintaining for over 5 straight years. As a core member of the Gita Pariwar, his roles include mentoring and training sadhakas at all 4 levels, training new instructors, and managing the selection and training of all trainers across the 4 levels. He also guides Gita Vratis to prepare for Sringeri Pitha's Gita exam as well. As a member of the Gita Parivar's Pune branch, respected Vaidya ji shares spiritual wisdom through these Vivechan sessions and also teaches Vishnu Sahasranama as well. It is indeed our honor and privilege to welcome respected Shri Vikas Vaidya ji Bhayaji to today's interpretation session on Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. Respected Vikas Vaidya ji Bhayaji, we respectfully request you to share your spiritual wisdom with us. Jai Shri Krishna.
वसुदेवसुदं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं जय श्री कृष्ण. पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरण कमलों में कोटि कोटि नमन. A warm welcome to all of you. We are discussing Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, 18th Adhyaya Bhagavad Gita, the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Last time we discussed up to Shlok 35, wherein we discussed 3 types of dhrutis. So what was Tamasi dhruti? Yaya swapnam bhayam shokam vishadam madamevacha navimanchati durmedha dhrutissa partha tamasi. So having discussed karma, karta, dhruti, buddhi, all that, now God will tell us about the sukha, happiness. Happiness also has 3 types. So we'll start with shlok number 36. Sukham dvidanim trividam shruname bharadarshapho abhyasadramade yatra dukkhantainja nigacchati. Bharadarshapho, O chief of Bharatas, that means Arjuna, now hear from me, Shruname, hear from me the threefold happiness. Sukham dvidanim trividam. Sukha also is of three types. Listen it from me now. The happiness which is acquired through long practice, abhyasa dramate, gives deep joy and entails the end of sorrow. Dukkhantancha nigacchati. So in earlier shlokas, we have learnt in this adhyaya that Shri Krishna Bhagavan has discussed the constituents of karma, how the karma comes into effect. So 5 factors which God explained to us were adhishthanan tatha karta karnai cha pratak vidam vividascha pratak cheshta daimai chaivatra panchamam. So this was 14th slok. And then God also explained to us the factors which motivate the action and controls the action. So which are those? Jnanajneyam parijnata trivida karma chodana karnam karma karteti trividah karma sangraha. Now in this background, God will move on to explain what is the objective, what is the goal of our karma. What is the goal of karma? The ultimate motive behind people's action, karma, is the search for happiness. Everybody does everything for happiness only in the life, isn't it? So everyone desires to be happy. And through their actions, they seek fulfillment, peace, satisfaction. But since everyone's actions differ in their constituents, which constituents? Adhishthanan tatha karta karanicha pratakvidam vividashta pratak cheshta daimai chaivatra panchamam. So everybody adhishthan, karta, karan, pratak cheshta, daiva, all are different for everybody. So the result of everybody's karma is therefore different. Then again, nyayindeyam paridhyana trivida karma chodana, this is also different for everybody. So since everybody's action differs in their constituent factors, the kind of happiness that they derive from their karma, out of their work, is also different. Śrīmad Bhagavan will therefore now explain the 3 categories of happiness. See, in life, everybody experiences momentary happiness. Everybody experiences momentary happiness every now and then. You switch on the TV and you see a person whom you like most. You feel happy. Okay, momentary happy. This type of happiness is instinctive. Any pleasant experience causes this feeling, and any unwelcome experience causes revulsion or unhappiness. You switch on the TV, you see Modi ji, you feel happy. You see somebody RG, you feel very, very unhappy, isn't it? But it is temporary. This is temporary. But the lasting happiness, which also entails loss of sorrows and grief, is an altogether different experience. It is not momentary. It is permanent. It is a great feeling indeed. It comes through long spiritual practice, abhyasa dramate, and lasts forever. It is a great treasure of unique happiness. It is so different from the usual feeling of everyday happiness, which the worldly incidents and events cause. So much difference and permanent. That is the beauty of this happiness, which God is going to explain to us now. So it starts with shlok number 37. What is Sattvic Sukh? Sattvic happiness. Yat tadagre vishamiva pariname mritopamam tat sukham sattvikam proktam atma buddhi prasadayam. That yat agre means in the beginning. Yat agre becomes yat tadagre. Seems like poison. Visham eva is like, visha is poison. So that which seems like poison at first, pariname amrutopamam, but tastes like nectar, amrut, in the end, pariname, is said to be the happiness in the mode of goodness. That is Sattvic Sukh, which seems like poison at first, but tastes like nectar in the end. And this is generated by the pure intellect that is situated in the self-knowledge, Atma Buddhi Prasadajam. So this Sukha comes from the Atma Buddhi, in the self-knowledge, Atma Jnana. Now in day-to-day life, let us see example of this. We know that amla, Indian gooseberry, what we call it, amla, is one of such superfoods, amla, that is very beneficial for health. It has vitamin C, which they say is more than 10 oranges, one small amla. The vitamin C content of one amla is more than 10 oranges. But children dislike it. They don't want to eat amla. They want to eat orange only. Because it is bitter in the taste. Parents in North India, they encourage their children to eat amla khao, saying, amla का खाया और बड़ों का कहा बाद में पता चलता है. अमले का खाया और बड़ों का कहा बाद में पता चलता है. That means the benefits of these eating of amla and advice of elderly people is experienced in future later. Immediate आपको समझ में नहीं आएगा, but you will definitely reap benefits if you listen to the advice of elders or if you eat amla. Interestingly, after eating amla, in just a couple of minutes, the bitterness disappears and it starts tasting sweet. And the long-term benefits of consuming vitamin C are undoubtedly numerous. In this shloka, Shri Krishna Bhagavan says that happiness in the mode of goodness, sattvic sukh, is of the same nature. Yattadagre vishyamevo pariname vrtopamam. It seems bitter in the short term, but tastes like nectar in the end. The Vedas refer to the happiness in the mode of goodness as Shreya. Shreya is mode of happiness, which is unpleasant in the present, but ultimately beneficial. In contrast to Priya. So there are two things, Shreya and Priya. Priya, which is pleasant in the beginning, but ultimately harmful. So on Shreya and Priya, Kathopanishad says there are two paths in life. One is beneficial and other is pleasant. Shreya and Priya. These two lead human beings to different ends. The pleasant is enjoyable in the beginning, but ends in the pain. The ignorant are entrapped to the pleasant and they perish finally. But the wise are not deceived by its attractions. They choose the beneficial and finally attain the happiness. So whether to select Shreya or Priya is up to our wisdom. So this sattvic happiness is like poison in the beginning because the rigor, hard efforts involved in attaining that spiritual realization is very high. When we started learning Geeta, maybe it was bothersome in the beginning. Somebody sent us the link, start learning Geeta. Okay, we click the link, we join the Geeta Pariwar, we start learning. But then there is a necessity of attending classes every day. Friends are enjoying somewhere, watching movie or TV or enjoying the restaurant, and we are attending Geeta class. Very boring in the beginning, isn't it? Shetadagre Vishwameva. But now, Parinam, coming to L4, now we see what nectar Geeta is, isn't it? Pariname Vrtapamam. So those who were watching TV and movies, they are still doing that only. We have come far ahead. That is Pariname Amrutopamam. So this is Sattvic Sukh. The Sukh that we are enjoying today after learning Geeta is Sattvic Sukh. In the beginning, it was troublesome for us. Sanskrit is not known. Geeta we have never read. So in the beginning, it was troublesome, agreed. But now, it is nectar. It is Amrut. Once it is attained, it is an investment lasting beyond death. Learning Geeta is our investment beyond death. Because it is not subject to any time frame. Geeta is Kalatit, not subject to any time frame. This lasting and unique happiness is the reward of our spiritual efforts, which involves cultivation and elevation of prana, mind and senses to the spiritual level, which we are doing by learning Geeta. We have learned about prana in Adhyaya 8. By living life, how to live the prana, that also we have learned in Adhyaya 8. But the imitation prayers cannot fetch this. It exists in the core of heart, Atma Buddhi Prasadajam. For that, God has given a couple of shlokas, many shlokas rather, not couple. But two come to my mind are, in the second Adhyaya, God has said, Ragadvesha viyuktaistu vishayanindriye sharan atmavashyer videyatma prasadamadi gacchati. This is a prasad. And in the fifth Adhyaya also, God has said, Bhahyasparasheshva saktatma vindatyatmani yat sukham sabrahma yoga yuktatma sukham akshayam ashnute. This is Akshay Sukh. But it comes from Atma Buddhi Prasadajam. So this was Satvik Sukh. Now what is Rajasi Sukh? Next sloka, 38. Vishendriya sanyogat tadagre mritopamam pariname vishamiva tatsukham rajasam srutam. Yatadagre amritopamam or pariname vishamiva. So opposite of Satvik Sukh. Happiness is said to be in the mode of passion, that is Rajasi Sukh, when it is derived from the contact of senses with the sense objects. Vishendriya sanyogat. When the Indriya and Indriya Vishay, their sanyog takes place, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, these are the senses. When they meet their corresponding sense objects, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, some kind of happiness takes place. You start liking what you see, you start liking what you are hearing, you start tasting what you are eating. So it is derived from the contact of senses with the sense objects. Such happiness is like nectar in the beginning, but poison in the end. Vishendriya sanyogat dattadagreyambatopamam pariname vishimima tatsukam rajasam srudam. Because the sense and sense objects cannot give permanent joy. That happiness cannot be permanent. It will start and it will end soon. So Rajasic happiness is experienced as a thrill that arises from the contact between sense and sense objects. But the joy is short-lived. As the contact itself, it leaves in its wake greed, anxiety, guilt, and the thickening of material illusion. Even in the material world, for meaningful accomplishment, it is necessary to reject the Rajasic happiness. So Rajasic happiness is not to be rejected only in Adhyatma, in spirituality, but also in our day-to-day material world. As a reminder to steer him away from the immediate but misleading joys in our day-to-day life also. One of our prime ministers, he used to keep these lines on his desk. From the poem name was Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. The poem, few lines of poem read like this. The woods are heavy, dark and deep. The woods are lovely, dark and deep. But I have promised to keep. Miles to go before I sleep. Miles to go before I sleep. The path is lasting, and divine bliss lies not only in indulgence, but in renunciation, austerities, and discipline. So which path we select, that depends whether we reach our ultimate desired destination or not. We are the one who select the path. We must know that all forms of happiness which are based on senses are of temporary nature. After first immediate contact between the sense and their corresponding respective sense objects, the results may cause happiness, but afterwards it causes pain and sorrow. Young generation particularly may not easily agree with this conclusion. ऐसा क्या है बोल रहे हैं आप? Sense and sense objects, they enjoy pleasure, and you say it is not sattvic pleasure, it is rajasic pleasure, which will end. हम तो नहीं देखते ऐसा, it will end. The reason for that is that because they have vigor of youth, and secondly, they are ignorant of the spirit generated or the soul generated happiness. आत्मज्ञान का सुख होना देखा ही किधर है अभी? They are engaged only in material pleasure. Which is the real nectar? When we see the Atma Sukh, they have not tested that. The Sukh generated by spirit or by the soul, which is Sattvic Sukh, which is like the real nectar, they have not experienced it so far. And before which the sense-born happiness is a mere triviality. When you start experiencing that soul-generated happiness, this sense and sense object happiness is a triviality, insignificant, totally. Again, in fifth adhyaya, God has said, Ye hi sansparsha bhoga dukkhayo na evate adyantavantah kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Buddha, the intelligent people don't get engaged into this kind of happiness. And again in 14th adhyaya, Gunatraya Vibhagyo, God has said, Karmanastu krutasyahu sattvikam nirmalam phalam rajasastu phalam dukkham ajnanantamasa phalam. So the fall of Sattvic Sukh, Rajasi Sukh and Tamasi Sukh, God has explained in 14th Adhyaya as well in Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Now what is Tamasi Sukh? Having discussed Sattvic and Rajasi, God explains Tamasi Sukh in Shlok 39. Yadagre januvandhe cha sukham mohanamatmanaha nidralasya pramadothan tattamasamudaratam. That happiness which covers the nature of the self from the beginning till end. It keeps you in ignorance right from beginning till end, and which is derived from nidra, sleep, alasya, laziness, pramad, negligence, and it is said to be in the mode of ignorance, tattama samudaratam. So the tamasic sukh is of the lowest kind, and it is foolish from beginning till end. It throws the soul in the darkness of ignorance, and yet since there is a tiny experience of pleasure in it, people get addicted to it. Very tiny pleasure in it, but they get in that darkness of ignorance right from beginning till end. That is why cigarette smokers find it difficult to break their habits. They get momentary pleasure, even while knowing that it is harmful. They buy a pack of cigarettes from a shop on which it is written, smoking is injurious to health, it may cause cancer. Sorry? Reading that also they smoke cigarettes. They get temporary pleasure out of it, and they get totally covered by ignorance, ajnan, darkness. The same is the case with drug addicts. They are unable to reject the happiness they get from addiction. What happens in sleep or under alcohol effect or under the drug effect, drug-induced unconsciousness, what happens? The people forget themselves, and not only is the person who is taking it, not only that he is aware of his pure self, but he also forgets his senses of self. Knowledge of self and all that, to the baat ki baat hai. But he even forgets his senses that are linked to the body, mind and intellect. And he derives great pleasure in doing so. मैं सब कुछ भूल जाना चाहता हूँ. अरे अच्छा तरीका भूल जाने का. Getting drug addicted or taking liquor addicted, such that he is willing to commit any immoral or evil act to procure the drug or to procure a bottle of liquor. He becomes so much addicted to it. We read in newspaper that some drug addict, they even kill others to get the drugs. Because they're totally covered by ignorance, by darkness, for that momentary pleasure. Tamasic pleasure is such that it makes the person forget his self, both during sensory interaction and also in its aftermath. And a tamasic person, that is, whose antakaran is tamasic, whose karmas are tamasic, such a person derives pleasure from nidra, sleep, laziness, alasya, heedlessness, and irresponsibility. And this kind of pleasure is known as tamasic pleasure. Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā states that such pleasures derived from sleep. People enjoy sleep. They will keep sleeping till 10:30 in the morning or maybe 11 o'clock in the morning. Laziness, कुछ करना ही नहीं. Keep lying on sofa for the whole day. Keep watching TV or do nothing. Negligence. Such pleasures are in the mode of tamasi, ignorance, tamasi happiness. Now, why did Mahabharata war take place? While explaining the causes of Mahabharata war, Maharishi Vyas, he tells Dhritarashtra many reasons for Mahabharata war in Udyog Parva of Mahabharata. Among them, he clearly mentions the indulgent drinking parties of the youth. So in Mahabharata Kal, before the war, the society was become totally addicted to drinking. Youth were totally engaged in drinking parties. And Maharishi Vyas has stated it in Udyog Parva. In the beginning, during the height of youth, this enjoyment-oriented lifestyle seems pleasant and comforting. Maja aa raha hai, weekend parties. But ultimately, it leads only to sorrow. So that is Rajasic passionate, Rajasic pleasure. Even lower than that is the Tamasic pleasure we discussed. In that which fascinates person both in the beginning and in the end is Tamasic pleasure. Sleep, laziness, negligence are the sources of Tamasic pleasure. Such a person remains completely deprived of spiritual knowledge. How can he get? He remains entangled in the sensual pleasure initially and finally also. These pleasures are painful from start to end. Yet tamasic person remains unaware of it, that he is facing the sorrows because of his habits, tamasic habits. Now, when a child is born, the mother undergoes unbearable pain. But when the child is placed before her, she experiences immense joy. Similarly, turning of ocean required great efforts and hardship. Yet it ultimately produced the nectar of immortality, Amrit. Yajna, rituals like yajna, sacrifices, may seem difficult in the beginning, but they lead to heaven. These are the examples of sattvic, pure happiness, which in the beginning may be troublesome, but in the end, like nectar. The pleasures obtained from when an object first comes into the house gradually starts fading away when the objects start becoming old. In old days, when you used to buy a fridge, it used to be a novelty those days. Fridge आ गया घर पे, हमारे घर ठंडा पानी मिलेगा आज. We got a fridge. But that pleasure dies down in 8-10 days. सबके पास फ्रिज हो गया, अभी हमारे पास भी है, तो सबके पास है. So no, nothing great about it. So this temporary pleasure, which is depending on outside things, is Rajasic pleasure. A man constantly craving sensual pleasure initially enjoys it, but it ultimately, this may lead to the terrible suffering like diseases. Physical intimacy, many people enjoy it. It may cause some disease like AIDS. Or he may try unnatural methods to retain his youthful strength by taking some wrong medicines. But it will ultimately result in the bodily harm, no? So this Rajasic Sukh is like this. Temporary, but in the end dangerous, like Visha. Regarding Tamasic happiness, God has explained, a person is captivated both at the beginning and at the end also. He remains absorbed in laziness. He is easily swayed away by those who flatter him. Every action leads either upward towards progress or downward towards decline. Urdhvam gacchati sattva madhya tishthanti rajasa jagannaguna pratistha adho gacchanti tamasaha. We learned it in 14th Adhyaya. So while proceeding, that action gives some tempting result. That is what we call as happiness. But pleasure is an experience of the body, while true joy, ananda, is the experience of the soul. So whether we want pleasure of the body or we want the true joy of the soul, choice is ours. Therefore, sattvic happiness is superior to the form among all forms of happiness. So having discussed these three forms of sukha, sattvic sukha, rajasic sukha and tamasic sukha, now the time to discuss a small anecdote to clearly know the difference between these three. In a village, there lived three brothers. Let us name them anything. Shantanu, Raju and Dinesh. Shantanu, Raju and Dinesh. All three were searching for happiness, like all of us do. But each one sought it in a different way. This Dinesh is an example of tamasi happiness. Dinesh would stay awake till late in the night, wasting time in gossiping, arguments, and bad habits like drinking. The next morning, he would wake up tired, exhausted, with a dull mind and disturbed home environment. For some time, he felt this was fun, kya maja aa raha hai. But eventually, it only brought emptiness, fatigue, and sorrow. So this is tamasi happiness for that Dinesh. Pleasant at first, but ends in the suffering. Now Raju, second brother, his happiness was a rajasic happiness. Raju was hardworking. He always pursued wealth, recognition, success. When he achieved his goal, he felt very happy for a short while. But soon, a new goal, new competition, and new stress would arise. I want to do something more. This is no more happiness for me. He never felt satisfied with whatever he got. His mind was always restless, always anxiety in the mind. One success followed by another, yet peace was nowhere in his mind. This is rajasic happiness. There is happiness, but it always comes with stress, with competition and unrest. While that Shantanu, sattvic happiness. Shantanu would wake up early, meditate, read good thoughts, work sincerely, help others, and spend his evening lovely with the family. He did not need to search for happiness outside. His mind remained calm, clear, and content. His happiness slowly increased day by day, giving him deep and lasting inner peace. This is sattvic happiness. We enjoy all these three kinds of happiness in our day-to-day life, isn't it? If we analyze our own calendar for last 1 month, we will find out that some days we have enjoyed this sattvic sukha. A couple of days maybe rajasic sukha, and a couple of days maybe tamasic sukha also. So sattvic sukha, it seems simple in the beginning, but it grows steadily and gives lasting peace and joy. So what is the lesson from this small story? Tamasic happiness momentarily is a momentary pleasure. Later sorrow and sorrow only. Rajasic sukha, pleasure mixed with stress and dissatisfaction, unrest. And sattvic happiness, true peace, contentment and lasting joy. So true happiness does not lie in external object, but in a pure nature and a calm and balanced mind. Atma buddhi prasadajam. That is why Geeta teaches sattvic happiness alone is the real happiness. The remaining two are not really happiness at all. So only sukh is sattvic sukh. Okay, next shloka, 40 shloka. न तदस्ति पृथिव्या वा दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः सत्त्वं प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तैः यदेवि सत्त्रिभिर्गुणैः. Having discussed all these three, सत्पुरुषोत्तमो सत्पुरुषोत्तमो सत्पुरुषोत्तमो, or karta, karma, buddhi, dhruti, sukha, everything. Now God says, no living being on the earth or on the higher celestial abodes of this material world is free from the influence of these modes of nature. So Satpurujatamo are the ruling kings of the world, material world as well as the celestial abode. The three gunas of Prakriti are all pervasive. They are pervading everywhere, up to the celestial abodes, the entire universe. They cover every living being on the earth and devatas in the heaven. These three gunas, Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic, can only be overcome by successfully realizing the soul. Short of that, no being can hope to be free from the shackles of Prakriti. These three gunas are present in all of us, but how? Like butter in the milk. Can you separate butter from the milk? Yes, we can. But milk by itself is already having butter in it. So by default, all these gunas are in us. Like butter is hidden in the milk. Fire is hidden in the wood. Or the breath is hidden in all of us. There is no escape from them, these three gunas. Because the entire nature is made of these three gunas. Whether we talk of earth or heaven, Prithvi and Devi Devishu, only Nishkam Karma performed through Sattvic intellect, acquired through Sattvic Dhruti. Dhruti is firmness of intellect, lead a being to the state of Nirguna. The Upanishads state that the material energy Maya is tricolored. तीन रंग की होती है माया. कौन से तीन रंग? Material has three colors: white, red and black. White, red and black. That is, it has three modes: goodness, passion and ignorance. It is the mother-like womb of innumerable living beings within the universe. These three gunas like that. It is brought into existence and supported by one unborn Lord who is full of knowledge. God, however, does not get entangled with his material energy. God is not bound by these three gunas of Prakriti. He independently enjoys the pleasures of his transcendental leelas, pastimes. But the living entity like us, we enjoy the material world, and thus become bound by it, get bondaged. Maya's domain extends from Patal, the nether region, to the celestial abodes, to the Swarga. Since the three modes of nature, Sattva, Rajatamo, are inherent attributes of Maya, they exist in all the material abodes of existence. Hence, all living beings on these abodes, whether it is earth or Swarga or Patal, whether human or celestial gods, are under the sway of these three gunas, Sattva, Rajatamo. The residents of Patal have a predominance of Tamo guna, the residents of earth have a predominance of Rajoguna, and the residents of celestial abodes have a predominance of Sattva guna. See, who does not like sleeping? Everybody enjoys sleeping, you know. Say in a cold weather, in the winter night, you are enjoying sleep. But suddenly early in the morning, 4 o'clock, the alarm sounds asking you to wake up. Take a bath and sit for your meditational practice, spiritual sadhana. You get very unhappy with that poor clock for sounding the horn, the alarm. To a seeker, to a devotee, he has to face this fight every day, wherein he has to overcome his inertia. This love for sleep is inertia, that is, love for sleep is tamoguna. He has to overcome this tamoguna. When it is time for sitting for meditation, for the meditation, shrug of laziness, again tamoguna, and not given to the temptation of sleep. So as to ward off his tamoguna to enter into sattvaguna. Likewise, the tongue is always seeking the favorite delicacy. When the host is serving, for example, the food that you like most, suppose you like hot jalebis, and you suddenly remember that you have fast today, you cannot eat hot jalebis, then there begins the dilemma. क्या करें अभी? जलेबी तो सामने है गरम गरम, खा नहीं सकते. Today I am fasting. The tongue says that I want to eat. The intellect says no, you cannot eat. Today you are fasting, you cannot eat. And with much deliberation, the fellow strikes a compromise and says to his host, "Sorry, sir, I cannot eat this jalebi today, but keep it aside. I will eat it tomorrow." But if the quantum of Rajoguna has increased, then the fellow will mentally say to the God, "Oh Lord, how can I hurt my host's sentiments? He is offering so lovingly these jalebis to me. If I decline, he will get hurt, no? How can I hurt his feelings? God, I am sure it is you, O beloved Krishna, who has sent me these jalebis through this host. And furthermore, it is you who has said that one should not insult the God residing within others. So if I decline, then I am insulting God in him. This is how the intellect works wonderfully. Huh? Thus I will respect your words, O God, and eat these jalebis. As far as fast is concerned, never mind. I will observe it on some other day. गुरुवार नहीं तो शनिवार कर लेंगे ना. All days are same. All are created by God only. So if I don't do fasting on Thursday, it's okay. I will do fasting on Saturday. So this is how the intellect works. Shri Krishna Bhagavan says, no one can evade the influence of Prakriti born three gunas. For they are present in all beings. But how to keep them in balance? Now that is certainly not in your hands. It is up to you whether you want to be sattvic, rajasic or tamasic. But is it easy to balance and decide whether I want to be sattvic, I want to be rajasic, I want to be tamasic? Because tamoguna prone individuals who has been born in a tamasic environment, to say tamasic parents, how will he get exposed to virtues of sattva-guna? His entire environment is tamoguna. His parents are tamoguni. How do you expect him to behave sattva-guni? And consequently, how will the sattvic samskar even awaken in him? The same is true for rajoguna prone individuals. If his environment is rajoguni, his parents are rajoguni, how do you expect him to behave sattva-guni? But sometimes, children born to tamasic parents, they grow up with virtuous attributes like sattva-guni. We have examples. Bhakta Prahlad. He is such an example. He was born to tamasic parents, but grew as a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. See, gunas cannot exploit a man of wisdom. Rather, it is he who utilizes the gunas very astutely to his benefit for his spiritual sadhana. Sant Kabir has said, Maya that creates illusion for the entire world, that very Maya lies in the service of a jnani, of a sage. This means that a sage is able to make the most of Maya. He utilizes the Maya very prudently to his own advantage, for his own spiritual gains. Maya is no longer able to delude the jnani. Rather, it works as a servant. So this was all about sattva, raja, tamo, for all jnana, karta, karma, sukha, dhruti, everything. Now God is coming to a different topic altogether, about the society. How he has formed a society. Slok 41. Brahman kshatriya visham shudranam japarantapo karmani pravivaktani svabhava prabhavirgunaihi. The duties of Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra are assigned according to their qualities and according to their gunas. Karmani prabhavaktani svabhava prabhavirgunaihi. Nowhere it is said Janma prabhavaktani. Janma is not factor to be considered at all for deciding who is Brahman, who is Kshatriya, who is Vaishya, who is Shudra. We have a similar slogan in 4th Adhyaya, if you remember. Chaturvarnam mayang srishta gunakarma vibhagashaha tasya kartaramipamam vidyakartaram abhyayam. So this Chaturvarna has been explained by God in the 4th Adhyaya as well. And here also guna karma vibhagashaha. There also no janma has been mentioned. So there is no mention of birth as the basis of division of varnas. In any of Gita shlokas, someone has said very appropriately that finding the perfect profession is like finding a perfect life partner. But how do we discover the perfect profession for ourselves? Here Shri Krishna Bhagavan explains that people have different natures according to the gunas that constitute their personality. And thus different professional duties are suitable for different people. The system of Varnashrama was a scientific organization of the society according to Swahava Prabhaver Gunehi, work based on one's nature and gunas. And in the system of organization, there were 4 ashramas. Ashramas are the stages of life, and 4 varnas, the occupational categories. So 4 stages of life and 4 varnas was the way the society was designed by God. The stages in life were Brahmacharya ashram, that is the student life, which lasted from birth till the age of 25. Then next was Grihastha ashram, the household life, which was regular married life from 25 to 50. Then third was Vanaprastha ashram, semi-renounced life, which was from the age of 51 to 75. At this stage, one continued to live with the family but practiced renunciation. So that is Vanaprastha ashram. And the fourth stage of life was Sannyasa ashram, renounced order of life, which was from the age of 75 onwards, where one gave up all household duties and resided in a holy place, absorbing the mind in God. So that was Sannyasa ashram. So these were the 4 stages of life. The 4 varnas were Brahmin, the priestly class; Kshatriya, the warrior and administrative class; Vaishya, the mercantile and farming class; and Shudra, the working and service class. The varnas were never considered higher or lower among themselves when they were first created by the God. Since the center of society was God, everyone worked according to their intrinsic qualities to sustain themselves and society and make their life as a success by progressing towards the God realization. Thus, in Varnashram system, there was unity in diversity. Diversity is inherent in nature and can never be removed. We have various limbs in our society, and they all perform different functions. Expecting all limbs to perform the same function is ridiculous, futile. Seeing them all different is not a sign of ignorance, but a factual knowledge of their utilities. Similarly, the variety amongst human beings cannot be ignored. See, even in communist countries where equality is foremost principle, socialism, communism, even in communist countries, there are party leaders who formulate the ideologies or the foremost principles of their country. There is a military that wields the guns and protect the nation. There are farmers who cultivate the land, and there are industrial workers to do the mechanical jobs for the society or for the country. The 4 classes of occupation exist there as well, despite all attempts to equalize. The Christian or Islamic countries also have this division of society based on the duties. America has an army, they got a business class, they got farmers, isn't it? But people decided unnecessarily to target India and our Sanatan Dharma under a wrong pretext that we are dividing the society. God nowhere has said this is based on birth. Karmani pravaktani svabhava parvairgunahi. The Varnashram system recognized the diversity in human beings. Everybody's nature is different, no? Somebody wants to become doctor, somebody wants to join army. So God has only facilitated them to go as per their nature, intrinsic nature. So scientifically prescribed duties on occupations matching to the people's nature was the basic foundation of this Varnashram system. However, unfortunately, with the passage of time and with wrong propaganda done by the people, Varnashram system got deteriorated. And the basis of Varnas changed from one's nature and gunas and karmas to one's birth. So the children of Brahmin started calling themselves as Brahmin, irrespective of whether they possess the corresponding qualities or not. Also, the concept of higher and lower caste got propagated, and upper caste began looking down at the lower caste. Who created all this? We only created. Krishna has never said. When the system grew rigid and birth-based, it becomes dysfunctional. And there was a social defect that crept in with the time in this Varnashram system. And was that the original intention of the Varnashram system? But the most annoying fact is that people without understanding these shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, Karmani Pravoktani Svabhava Parvair Gunahi or Chaturvarnamaya Sutta Guna Karma Vivakashaha, they start blaming Gita for dividing the society. How foolish, ridiculous it is. Tell me, Gita professes equanimity. Samatmai Yoga Uchyate. This is the foundation of Gita. Equanimity, equanimity, equanimity. So many shlokas are there referring to equanimity in life. How can Lord Krishna be blamed for creating higher or lower castes? Will he create this kind of inequanimity? This thought itself is rubbish. In the next few shlokas, according to original categorization of the system, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Shri Krishna Bhagavan maps the gunas of people with their natural qualities of work. So what are the Brahmana's gunas and what are their natural karmas? Same for Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So what is Brahmana's karma and their nature? Shamodamastapashaucham kshantirarjavamevacha jnanam vidyanamastikyam brahma karma svabhavajam. Tranquility, shamo. Restraint, dhamma. Austerity, tapa. Shaucham, purity. Kshanti, patience. Arjavam, integrity. Jnanam, knowledge. Vijnanam, wisdom. And the belief herein after. These are the intrinsic qualities of karmas for Brahmin. Brahma karma svabhavajam. So these are the attributes of Brahmins. Shamodamastapashaucham kshantirarjavamevacha jnana vidyanamastikyam brahma karma svabhavajam. Note that not even once Shri could not refer to any external appearance. Like the Brahmin should have a shaved head, they should have a tilak on their head, they should wear saffron clothes. Is there anywhere is it said like this? That Brahmana will be that who will be doing all this external dharma? Or they should have a choti or tilak on their forehead or a thread worn around their body. जनेऊधारी होगा तो ही ब्राह्मण होगा. ऐसा कहीं कहा है क्या भगवत गीता में भगवान ने? The real attributes are the forthrightness, honesty, rare spiritual knowledge, not possessed by common people, purity, and forbearing difficulties encountered while performing some austerity. So these are the gunas which qualify for someone to get called as a Brahmin. For example, say a person decides to chant Mahamrityunjay mantra 1,25,000 times, 1.25 lakh का जप करने का है, and that too over a period of 21 days. 1.25 lakh jap in 21 days. Now this will be easy, you think? These people are there are people who chant Gayatri mantra 24 lakh times. That is called Gayatri Punashcharan over a limited period of time. Is it easy? Sitting continuously for several hours together and chanting mantras with focused mind, one will experience body discomfort and sufferings. Not so easy. You start getting blisters on your body with the heat generated through repeated mantra chanting. I have seen people who are doing Gayatri Punashcharan 24 lakh times. Their bodies totally become hot with blisters on their body all over. Is it easy? Very difficult. But who gladly does it, who endures this hardship, is a Brahmin. He is a Brahmin. Such a person loves getting up early in the morning, devotes his time to worship of the divine, and by consistent spiritual practice, such a person then one day gets first-hand experience of the Almighty God. And the one who thus realizes Brahma is Brahmin. So a Brahmin is a person who has realized the Brahma. Now, in today's Brahmin community, how many can be qualified as who has realized the Brahma? So, those possess predominantly sattvic natures were Brahmins. Shamodapasavakram Shantirajamacha Dhyanavindam Brahma Karma Svabhajam. Their primary duties were to undertake austerities, practice of purity of mind, do devotion, and inspire others from their examples. Thus, they were expected to be tolerant, humble, and spiritually minded. They were expected to perform Vedic rituals for themselves and for the other classes as well. So, for remaining classes of the society, whether Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra, for their benefit, these Vedic rituals were to be performed by Brahmins. Their nature inclined them towards love for knowledge. So the profession of teaching, cultivating knowledge, and sharing it with others was also suitable for Brahmins. Although they did not participate in the government administration themselves, they guided the executives of the government. And because they possessed wisdom for scriptures, their views on social and political matters were greatly valued. So that was the Brahmin community, Brahman Varna. Now what is Kshatriya? Kshatriya. Shauryantejo dhrutirdakshan yuddhyachapyapalayanam dhanamishvaravavashyak kshatrang karmasvabhavajam. Valor, shaurya, strength, fortitude, dhruti, skill in weaponry, daksham, resolve never to retreat from the battle, yuddhyachapya apalayanam, large-heartedness, dhanam, leadership abilities, ishwaram. These are the natural qualities of karmas or kshatriyas. Kshatrang karmas svabhavajam. So Kshatriya by nature is heroic, strong, and courageous. Moreover, this is supplemented with fortitude, determination. It is generally believed that those who are ready to fight, like people who enroll themselves in the armed forces, are Kshatriyas. Generally believed like that. More so, if their names are Singh or some Rajput, they are inclined to join armies. But just being willing to fight or waging a war is not the only criteria to be called as a Kshatriya. This has to be supplemented with forbearance, patience, generosity, dana vishravasya, and resourcefulness. Resourcefulness for someone to be labeled as Kshatriya. The Kshatriyas were those whose natures were predominantly Rajasic with a mix of Sattva Guna. So predominance of Rajasi with a mix of Sattva Guna were Kshatriyas. This made them royal, heroic, daring, commanding, and charitable. These qualities were suitable for their leadership in karmas, and they formed the administrative class that governed the country, all kings Kshatri. Yet they realized that they were not as learned or as pure like Brahmins. Hence, they respected Brahmin class and took their advice on the ideological, spiritual, and policy matters. So that was Kshatriya. Now what is Vaishya and Shudra? Next loka. कृषिगौरक्षवाणिज्यं वैश्यकर्मस्वभावजं परिचर्यात्मकं कर्म शूद्रस्यापि स्वभावजम्. Krushi, agriculture, Gaurakshavaणिज्यम, dairy farming and commerce are the natural karmas for those with qualities of Vaishyas. While serving through karmas is the natural duty for those with the qualities of Shudra, offering seva. A Vaishya is he who deals with honest merchandising and selling stuff. The Vaishyas were those who were predominantly Rajasic with a mix of Tamasic. So like Kshatriya were predominantly Rajasic with a tinge of Sattvic, these people, Vaishya, are predominantly Rajasic with a tinge mix of Tamoguna. They were thus inclined towards producing and possessing economic wealth through business and agriculture. They sustained the economy of the nation and created jobs for other classes. They were also expected to undertake charitable projects, Dhanam, to share their wealth with the deprived sections of the society. See, it is known that a businessman does business with the intention of making profits. It is known. He is not doing business for charity only. He is doing business for earning profits. Yes. There is no arm twisting involved in here. Making profit is not like making arm twisting. But what matters here is that above board, just and reasonable he should be. Moreover, spending a part of acquired wealth towards the welfare of society from all sections. This too is the responsibility of Vaishya. So they are also very important part of the society, Vaishya, like Brahmins and Kshatriya. Now Shudra. The fourth division refers to Shudra. These folks derive great joy in serving all constituents of the society, whether they are Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya. The Shudras were those who possessed tamasic natures. They were inclined towards scholarships, administration, and commercial enterprise. The best way for their progress was to serve society according to their calling. Artisans, technicians, job workers, tailors, craftsmen, barbers, plumbers, and other similar professions were included in this class. Now in day-to-day life, when a woman, a housemaker, takes care of her children and her family, she is also Shudra. By definition, she is also Shudra, isn't it? When the disciple serves his guru, when he cooks and cleans for his guru, for that period, he too is a Shudra. When a woman is educating and teaching her children, giving them good sanskars, for that time, she is a Brahmin. And when she goes to market and starts haggling for a reasonable price for purchases that she makes for her home, at that time, she becomes a Vaishya. What's more, when she fights for her honor or safeguards the interest of her children, at the time she becomes Kshatriya also. रुद्रावतार, किसी ने लड़की को छेड़ दिया उसकी in marketplace, she becomes Kshatriya also. She can take on any enemy that time, become a Kshatriya. Thus, these are the fluid divisions. Same person can be Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Kshatriya anytime. They are not set in stone. Once Brahmin is always Brahmin. Not like that. But unfortunately, we believe that once Brahmin is all time Brahmin. One Kshatriya is all time Kshatriya. It's not like that. Shri Krishna Bhagavan himself performed all the four Varnas. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. He used to take care of cattle, Vaishya, farming, Gauraksha, Vanijam. He killed so many demons with his own hands, Kansa and all others. So he was a Kshatriya. He is the most knowledgeable Gyan Bhandara Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So he is Brahmin. And he even cleans the utensils for rishis who came for yajnas. When Pandavas performed yajna, Shri Krishna Bhagavan, he not only served the food to all the Rishi Munis, but he also cleaned their utensils. So he was Shudra also. So this is not a, as I said, once Kshatriya is all-time Kshatriya. These are very fluid states. A person from Brahmin family, a person who is born in Brahmin family, for example, the day he joins army, his born has changed. He has become Kshatriya then. Can he go to army and say that I am Brahmin, I cannot do ahimsa, I am a non-violent person? Then if the enemy comes, if you say I am Brahmin, what will happen? So once you select a proper a profession, your varna changes according to that profession. At the plane of jnana, it is believed that one who links himself, his identity with the body is a Shudra, and whose body identification has been dispelled, I am not body, I am the soul, that person is a Brahmin. Because he has got this Atma Dhyan now. So he is a Brahmin. But what one sees in the society at large is that people are stamped with one of these categories based on only their birth. It is a huge tragedy. More annoyingly, they blame Geeta for creating this division in the society. As I said, it's a rubbish. Well, now having discussed the Chatur Varna, Brahma, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, it's time to discuss a couple of stories to understand this concept very well so that there is no misunderstanding or confusion, at least between us who are reading Bhagavad Gita regularly. What is Gita's message on Chatur Varna? Shri Kunda's Bhagavan has explained Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. These four categories are determined by not by birth, by one's qualities, gunas and karmas. In a village, there lived four friends: Vivek, Shaurya, Sadguru and Kartik. Four friends: Vivek, Shaurya, Sadguru and Kartik. They grew up together, played together, and were always by each other's side. One day, the village began to argue. Is a person's role in society decided by birth or by natural qualities and abilities? To seek the clarity, the four friends went to a sage in the forest. The sage calmly said, each one of you show me that work you can do naturally, joyfully, and with ease. The first one, Vivek, he began explaining the scriptures clearly and guiding people with wisdom. Everyone noticed that he was calm, thoughtful, and truthful. They recognized Brahmin-like qualities in him. Next was Shaurya. He protected villagers bravely when the bandits attacked the village. He upheld justice and order. So they saw Kshatriya qualities in him. Third was Sadguru. He cultivated fields, raised cattle, and traded goods, bringing prosperity to the village. People acknowledged Vaishya qualities in him. And last was Kartik. He repaired roads, built houses, cleaned temples, and helped people in every need. They saw Shudra qualities in him, service-oriented and practical. So the sage said, observe, I did not assign any of these jobs to you. Each of you naturally chose the work that suited to your own nature. One is not determined by birth, but by one's qualities and his actions. Where your mind feels peaceful and joyful, that is your true duty. What is the moral of the story? Every person has different natural qualities. No role is superior or inferior. The work that aligns with your inherent nature leads to happiness and success. Following your natural duty, your swadharma is the true fulfillment of life. So this shloka teaches us, do not judge by caste or by birth. Recognize your qualities and act according to your true nature. This is the real path for peace and contentment in life. Another small story. Once upon a time, in a small village in ancient India, a group of villagers decided to build a grand temple in the village for the divine. They believed that this temple should be a symbol of unity and service, where everyone could contribute according to their strength and their nature. When the project began, people naturally took up different roles. The Brahmin was learned in scriptures and spiritual rituals. He guided the project with his wisdom. He performed prayers, then consecrated, that means purified the site of the temple, motivated everyone with noble thoughts about why the temple should be built. The basic reason for temple to be built was not for pride, but for devotion. Kshatriya, strong and courageous, he took the responsibility of protecting the workers and maintaining the order. He ensured discipline and fairness, stood guard during the night, and encouraged others when difficulties arose. Then third is Vaishya, skilled in trade, finance, arranged for materials, managed donations, and ensured there was enough food and resources for all. His sense of balance kept the work flow smoothly. Fourth was Shudra, very dexterous in his hands, with his hands, and devoted in service. Actually built the temple with bricks, with stone, and with his own sweat. His craftsmanship brought the divine structure to life. Shudra. When the temple was completed, it shone in the sunlight, a symbol of devotion and cooperation. But when the people praised Brahmin ने temple बनाया है, for his wisdom, the Brahmin person, he said very humbly, without Kshatriya's strength, without Vaishya's support, and without Shudra's skill, my prayers alone could have never built this temple. Everyone should realize that is the combined efforts of all. Each realized that their role, though different, was equally sacred. Each duty was an offering to the divine. When the Ram Mandir was built in Ayodhya, do you think it was built by only one community or one Varna? All people came together. We even read stories that even some Muslim believers were involved in building the temple. Our Dharma considers everything, all Varnas, Brahma, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So those who are skillful in craftsmanship, they are Shudras. They are also equally important part of the society. No one is superior, nobody is inferior. So this story beautifully mirrors the message of Bhagavad-Gītā of 4th Adhyay. Chaturvarna Maya Surta Guna Karva Shatasya Kartarma Vidya Kartarma, and this shloka what we read just now. All these 5 shlokas from 41 to 44, we read about Brahma, Kshatriya, Vaishya and their qualities and their karmas. One created fourfold order based on guna, qualities, and karma, action. Not to divide the society, but to harmonize it. The Brahmin symbolizes wisdom and spiritual guidance. The Kshatriya, courage and protection. Vaishya, sustenance and balance. And Shudra, service and skill. Now, which is less and which is more? All are equal, no? Each complement the other. Just as every limb of the body serves a vital function, hand does its function, legs do their function, ears do their function, eyes do their function. Can you say somebody is inferior, somebody is superior? So likewise, each role in society contributes to its wholeness. When all work selflessly in their rightful dharma, the society becomes that divine temple. Strong, pure, and divine. So we should not create walls between these varnas. They are all to harmonize the society, not to disintegrate, to divide the society. Now, by performing the prescribed duty for each varna, how one can get the siddhi, param siddhi, God explains that in the next shloka. 45. Sve sve karmanya bhirda samsedyan labade naraha Swakarma nirdasya yatha bindati tachrunu. Now Shri Bhagavan says, by fulfilling their duties, born out of their inner qualities, human beings can attempt can attain perfection, Siddhi. Now hear from me how one can become perfect by discharging one's prescribed duty. स्वे स्वे कर्मण्यभिर्ता संसिद्धिं लभते नरः स्वकर्मदत्त सिद्धं यथा विन्दति तच्छृणु. Listen from me now. Now here the word has come swadharma. Swadharma is prescribed duties based on our gunas and our station in life. Whether you are brahmachari or grihasthashrami or vanaprastha or sannyasi. And our gunas, sattva rajatamo, like Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Performing them assures that we use the potential abilities of our body and mind in a constructive and beneficial manner for ourselves as well as for the society, for the country. This leads to purification and growth. It is also auspicious for the self as well as for the society. And since prescribed duties are in accordance with one's innate qualities, we feel comfortable while discharging those duties, and we are stable while discharging those duties. Then as we enhance our competence, our swadharma also changes, and we keep going on to the next higher class. In this manner, we keep advancing by dutifully executing our responsibilities. But it is outrageous even in today's India's social life, so-called modern times, to see a Dalit woman, a member of scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, being torched to death because she entered a temple or fetched water which was reserved, so-called reserved for the so-called upper caste people. This happens in few states. There is such a desperate need to educate these ignorant masses that one becomes superior or inferior not by one's birth, but solely by his deeds and his misdeeds. We know the story of sage Rahadas. He who was no exception, because he too had to endure such inhuman derision in his life and humiliation, just because he had been born to Shudra parents. But such was the irony that he was bestowed upon the gunas by Swami Ramananda, his Rahadas. Then that very Rahadas was facilitated by the king of Banaras, who fell at the feet seeking the sage's benediction. The same was true for Sant Kabir, Sant Namdev, or many others who were born to poor parents and had to face public humiliation for their so-called lowly background. Bhagavad-Gītā says, no one is born as a Brahmin, no one is born as a Kshatriya, no one is born as a Vaishya or Shudra. It is not that a person born to Brahmin parents will necessarily be a Brahmin. And Parshuram is a classic example of this. Although born in a Brahmin family, Parshuram, he was a Kshatriya by virtue of his temperament, always wielding axe in his hand, Parshu in his hand. He fought many wars against kings and defeated them with his bravery. So by virtue he was a Kshatriya, though born in Brahmin family. And contrary example to this is of King Vishwajit. Although born in the Kshatriya family, he went through such trials and tribulations just to be accepted, to be acknowledged as a Brahmin. He was pleading with the society that I am Brahmin, though he was born in Kshatriya family. And after all the upheavals and turmoil, at last, Vashishta Rishi finally acknowledged, O king, you are indeed a Brahmin Rishi. Because your karmas are like Brahmins. And Vishwamitra, he was Kshatriya by birth. But such was his mental inclination that he became a great Rishi, Vishwamitra. And after years of austere practices, he finally awakened the Brahmin in him by attaining the Supreme Parabrahma. Now, from the point of view of Jnana, from the viewpoint of Bhagavad-Gītā, there are well-defined attributes that delineate a true Brahmin. In none of the chapters of Bhagavad-Gītā has Shri Krishna ever referred to the external garb or appearance of a person. He has repeatedly stated the attributes of Brahmin, the one who meticulously follows the scriptural precepts, who is non-violent, forgiving, forbearing, compassionate, and who studies and reflects upon the scriptural knowledge and continually strives to attain the supreme divinity is a Brahmin. So some become Brahmin and some become Kshatriya. Likewise, those who have natural inclination towards merchandising, buying and selling stuff, they become Vaishyas. Vaishyas are in fact a very important pillar of the society. It is their wealth, it is the wealth of Vaishyas which enables Brahmins and Kshatriyas to perform their duties. A Kshatriya needs money for his weapons. Brahman needs money for sustenance, his sustenance. Shri Bhagavan says, whatever work, karma you do with the sentiment that it is Lord's work, offer it to the Lord. Carry out your duties without that sense of doership and without any attachment or aversion. And accept whatever fruits that come your way. If they are unfavorable, endure it patiently. And if they are favorable, accept it gratefully, thanking the Lord for His grace. Shri Bhagavan says that performing one's duty proficiently is nothing short of a yajna. Performing one's kartavya karma is a yajna. What will happen, for example, say if a person of Kshatriya temperament, his temperament is Kshatriya, he may be born in any family, but his temperament is Kshatriya, he decides to take up the profession of teaching, for example. God alone knows what will happen to the children when they get a Kshatriya as their teacher. Kshatriya by temperament, no? Not by birth, I am saying. Volatile, mercurial and dictatorial in his disposition. That is Kshatriya we discussed. And we read in newspaper also many times. When they school sometimes see a teacher slapping a student so hard that the poor fellow's eardrums get permanently damaged. Kshatriya teacher. Or a person who has Kshatriya temperament. Or the teacher punches the student so hard that it results in brain hemorrhage of the student. So this is a person of Kshatriya temperament choosing a Brahmin profession. You should choose the profession that matches with your nature and temperament. Likewise, if the doctors and nurses dispose of Shudra in them, service quality in them, that is, they don't derive any joy by serving others, will they be good at their profession then? You don't want to serve people and you are still a doctor or a nurse. Can you perform your duty rightfully? If their nature is of Kshatriya, for example, of a doctor or a nurse, even getting an injection from them will seem like getting a stabbing by a knife, because their style will be of Kshatriya. If doctors have Vaishya temperament, earning money, they will focus on making money. We see the racket in the medical fraternity. Organ trade also takes place. Today we see High Court judges also making money while giving the verdicts. That famous judge of Supreme Court, Yashwanta, who had a fire in his house, accidental fire in his house, and 15 crores of cash got burnt. What happened? He was only transferred. No punishment so far. It's a tragedy of life. They have made business. So a person who is mentally Vaishya, because his focus is on money, when he sits in the chair of a judge, what happens is this. So when people with inappropriate nature and temperament occupy positions of importance, the nation will be in danger. That's why Shri Bhagavan has very cleverly divided based on their guna and karma. The karma, as per our innate nature, makes life a sweet song. Else it makes a very stressful challenge. Okay, now is time for a small story. When we acquire knowledge, what kind of mental setup, mental frame we should have? A priest came to a guru The priest was very popular, even more famous than the Guru himself, and had great knowledge of the scriptures, that priest. He knew all the scriptures by heart, but he still had a feeling of incompleteness in him. He had learnt and memorized the scriptures, but he did not feel he was anywhere near the truth, the absolute ultimate truth. He could recall words, but could not find the door to reach the wordless silence. So Param Shanti, that what is Shanti, that he could not experience despite his great knowledge. So in the final moments of life, he looked to a guru, and he even found a guru. The guru looked at the priest and he said, "So I see a lot of obstacles within you. Your knowledge is overwhelming. You write what you all know and bring it. Why to talk about whatever you already know? So you write everything that you know, then I will know that you will know all these things. So I will not talk about that. We leave it at all that there. I will tell you what you don't know." So this fellow said, "Okay." So the disciple, he left. It took him almost a year to write down what all he knew. He knew so many scriptures that he kept on writing and writing and writing. He had filled some few thousand pages. He came back with that thousands of pages of book. The Guru said, "You have come back." "Oh, I doubted you may not come back, I thought. Because your knowledge is so vast, you have so much of information that I thought you will spend whole of your life in writing only what you know. But okay, you have come, very good." Seeing that thousands of pages book, the master said, "This is too much. This is too much. I am an old man now. My death is near. I cannot read so much. Write it all down in brief and just bring it to me, the gist of it." So this fellow said, "Okay." He went back to another 3 months. He returned after 3 months, the priest, and he had brought with him the gist of all those thousands of pages. It was 100 pages. The master said, "100 pages? This is too lot. This is too much. My days are numbered. I cannot read 100 pages. No, I cannot read 100 pages. Bring it down even more." So the disciple, the priest, he returned. He had written the summary on a single sheet, then single page, and brought it. But the Guru was nearing his death. He said, "Oh, my friend, this is too much, one page. Make it even concise. Go to the next room, quickly summarize it, and bring it." The disciple wrote the whole essence in one single sentence. Thousands of pages to 100 pages to one page, and now one single sentence. The Guru was holding his last breath. The master said, "I am holding on for you. When will you understand? Make it even shorter. Why are you being miser for making it brief?" Then the disciple understood what the Guru wanted to say. The disciple came to his senses. He ran to the other room and brought a blank paper without a word written on it. He gave the blank paper in the hands of his Guru, that this is what I'll know. This is what all I know. The master said, "You have become my disciple now. Although I am living, you have become my disciple. You are become my Shishya now. So your relationship with me will continue. When I was alive, even when you have had no relation with me, because your knowledge stood between us. You thought you are a very jnana person, and that stood between us. Now you have given me a blank paper saying that you don't know anything. Now our relationship starts as Guru and disciple. Now you become a blank paper. You are empty now. So I am living, but don't worry, the relationship is established now. Even death will not be able to break our relationship of Guru and Shishya. Life too cannot have connected with me in this way." In the moment of emptiness, the disciple attained the divinity. So what happened? This is a very unique story. What happened when he brought a blank paper? Bringing blank paper, meaning being empty from within. So when we go to our Guru, instead of showing what we know, we should accept we don't know anything. Then only we can expect the knowledge from our Guru. If you start showing off to your guru that I know so many things, then the guru will say, okay, good. Keep on doing what you do. You should go like a blank paper to the guru to get real wisdom, to get real knowledge. Okay, next shloka. Yada pravrittirbhutana yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmanatmabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. By performing one's natural occupation, one worships the creator from whom all living entities have come into being. Yada pravrittirbhutana yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmanatmabhyarcha. So, and by whom the whole universe is pervaded. Yena sarvamidam tatam. By such performance of karma, a person easily attains perfection. Swakarmanatmabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. So no soul is superfluous in God's creation. Everybody is required. His divine plan is for the gradual perfection for all living beings, without exception. We all fit into his scheme of things, like the tiny cogs in the giant wheel. And he does not expect more from us than the competence he has already given to us. He wants us to perform as per the competence that he has given to us. That's all. Therefore, if we can simply perform our swadharma in accordance with our nature and position in life, we will be participating in his divine plan for our purification. We start making our own plan, then start facing problems. God says, I have made plan for you according to your nature, your gunas, your karma. Why don't you work as per that plan? When done in devotional consciousness, our work itself becomes a form of worship for the God. A powerful story illustrating that no duty is ugly or impure, and it is only the consciousness with which we do is that determines its worth, was told Yudhishthira by Markandeya, sage Markandeya, in one Parva of Mahabharata. The story goes like this, that a young sannyasi went to the forest, where he meditated and performed austerities, tapa, great tapa, for a long time. A few years went, and by the end, one day, what happened? A crow's dropping fell upon that fellow who was doing that austerity tapa. He looked angrily at the bird, and the bird fell dead on the ground. The sannyasi realized that he has developed the yogic power now. As a result of his austerity, his tapa, he has now developed the power. He looks angrily at somebody, and that fellow will drop dead. He became filled with pride. Shortly after that, he went to a house to beg for alms, Bhikshandehi. The housewife came to the door and requested him to wait for a while, since she was nursing her sick husband. This angered this monk. He angrily glanced at her, thinking, you raged woman, you are asking me to wait? You know who am I? You don't know my powers. There was mental thinking going on. Reading his mind, the woman replied, do not look at me in such anger. I am not a crow to be burned by your glance. The monk was shocked. How did she know what I was thinking? And asked how she knew about the incident. The housewife said she did not practice any austerity. मैंने कोई तब किया नहीं है, but did her duties with devotion and dedication. By virtue of it, she had been illuminated and was able to read his mind. She then asked him to meet the righteous butcher, one butcher, who lived in the time of Mithila, and said that he would answer the question about dharma to clarify his doubts. The sannyasi overcame his initial hesitation. How can I go to a butcher? I am such a tapasvi, and I go to a butcher for knowledge. What is this? So initially he was very hesitant, but finally he went to Mithila. The righteous butcher then explained to him that all we have is our swadharma based on our past karmas and competence. But if we disagree with our natural duty, while renouncing the desire for personal gains and rising above the fleeting happiness and misery our way, we will purify ourselves and graduate to the next class of dharma. In this way, by performing our prescribed duties and not running away from them, the soul gradually evolved from its present gross consciousness to the divine consciousness, from material consciousness to the spiritual consciousness. The lecture the butcher delivered to that sannyasi is called Vyadha-Gītā. Vyadha-Gītā is a part of Mahabharata. This message is particularly applicable to Arjuna because he wanted to run away from his dharma, thinking it to be painful and miserable. And in this shloka, Shri Krishna instructs him that by doing his prescribed duty in proper consciousness, he will be worshipping the Supreme and will attain the perfection. Okay, next shloka. Shreyan swadharmo viguna paradharma svanishtitat svabhavniyatam karma kurvanna apnoti kilvisham. It is better to do one's own dharma. Shreyan swadharmo viguna. Even though imperfectly, viguna, than to do another dharma, even though perfectly. Paradharma svanishtitat. Svabhavniyatam karma kurvanna apnoti kilvisham. By doing one's innate duties, the person does not incur any sin. When we do our swadharma, that means our prescribed occupational duties, there is a twofold advantage. When we do our swadharma. It is aligned with our disposition, one thing. And it is as natural to our personality. As natural as flying comes to the bird. The bird can fly naturally without efforts. Or swimming comes to the fish. Fish doesn't have to learn swimming. It comes automatically. So following your swadharma in accordance with our innate nature is as easy as that. So if it's comfortable for mind, it can almost be done involuntarily. And the conscious becomes free to be engaged in devotion. On the other hand, if we abandon our duties, thinking them to be burdensome, and take up another's duties unsuitable for our innate nature, we struggle against our innate inclination of our personality. The four varnas of the society are meant to support and complement one another, not to exploit each other. A person who remains committed to their prescribed duty becomes capable of spiritual wisdom. Therefore, even if one's own duty sometimes appears imperfect, one should not abandon it and take up another duty. For in this world, no action is completely free from flaws. Every duty is viguna. There was a man working in a government office. During lunch breaks, he would go to, along with his friends, he would go to a nearby restaurant. Seeing the prices of food items, the constant flow of customers in that restaurant, and always full cash box, the person sitting on the counter has no time to even count the cash. So much cash coming. He said, what is the point in doing the job that I'm doing in this government office? It would be better if I start a restaurant. I will earn plenty of money and I will live more comfortably. As an experiment, he took 1 year unpaid leave and opened a restaurant. But then he faced the reality. Investment in the shop space, furniture, dealing with the workers, preparing different varieties of food daily, the whims of the cooks, customers' comments, bank loan installments. Managing all this overwhelmed him. Earlier, he would go for evening walks with his wife and children after the office, but now all that had stopped. He no longer had the time to play with the children also. Then he realized, I was only seeing the full cash counter, but to run that business, I have lost so many important joys of my life. My job was far better than this. What burns beneath someone's feet is not visible to others. Therefore, another person's profession may seem comfortable externally, but it has its own difficulties. Hence, no matter how attractive another person's duty appears, one should not abandon his own duty. This is what Bhagavad Gita explains with deep wisdom. Shriyan Swadharma Guna Paradharma Suritida Swadharma Nidhanam Shriya Paradharma Bhayavaha, that we read in the earlier shlokas. Now this shloka says Shriyan Swadharma Guna Paradharma Suritida Svabhavanidam Karma Kurunap Nodikal Visham. The word dharma here does not mean religion. Dharma does not mean Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai. However, even in the case of religion, dharma in today's parlance, the same principle applies. Shriyan Swadharma Guna Paradharma Sunatida. Sometimes other religion seems attractive due to someone's influence. Some will say, अरे Islam is great dharma यार. चार बीवियां करने को मिलती है यार वहाँ पे. People may think like that. And they may start saying, oh, in Hindu we follow only one single Patni Vrat. So externally you may think, oh, they are better, they can have 4 wives. Then the person abandons his own religion and accepts another, and this is where he gets trapped. We know how Islam is. Not the less spoken about it, the better it is. And he repents later. We see so many Hindu girls, what fate they meet. Therefore, God has given a warning. No matter how imperfect one's own dharma is, it is still beneficial for oneself. Even if we take dharma as today's dharma, what we talk. Just as fire is always covered by smoke, every action carries some flaw. Yet, performing one's own duty does not lead to sin. In short, do not abandon what is in your hand while chasing what is running away from you. One should work with dedication in his own field. If one keeps drifting like the wind, there is a great chance of ending up in disappointment. This is exactly what Arjuna's situation is. His Kshatriya nature was inclined to military and administrative activities. Events drove him to a situation where it was necessary for him to participate in a war of righteousness, Dharma Yuddha. If he were to shirk away from his duties and withdraw from the battlefield to practice austerities in the forest, what would happen? It would not help him spiritually. For even in the forest, he would not have been able to get away from his innate nature. In all likelihood, Arjuna would have gathered some tribal people in the forest, in the jungle, and become their king. But that is innate nature, Kshatriya. Instead, it would be better for him to continue doing his duty born of his nature and worship the God by offering the fruits of his karma to the God. So when one becomes spiritually accomplished, the Swadharma changes. It no longer remains at the bodily platform. Rather, it becomes the dharma of the soul, which is the devotion to the God. At this stage, one is justified in giving up occupational duties, engaging wholeheartedly in devotion, because that is how the Swadharma of one's nature. Our Swadharma, we know our dharma. Our Swa, our soul, is a fragment of Paramatma. Our Swadharma is to unite our Atma with Paramatma, of which it is a fragment. This is our Swadharma. For the people with that eligibility, Shri Krishna Bhagavan gives a clear conclusion in the end of Bhagavad Gita. When we go to 66 sloka, Paramatma will say, Sab chhod do, sarvadharman paritejya. Sarvadharman paritejya mamekam sharanavarja, ahanto asarvapapebhyo mokshishayam ashuja. Give up all varieties of dharma and simply surrender to me. However, until that stage is reached, the instruction given in this sloka applies. We are not qualified to go to that instruction, Sarvadharam Pariteja. The Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā says we must keep doing our prescribed occupational duties as long as the test for devotion through hearing, through chanting, through meditating on Leelas of God has not fully developed in us. So until that stage comes, we have to follow this. But once that stage comes, God will say, Saradano antarityajya mamekam sharanam braja ahantva sarvapibhyo moksheshyam ashucha. Okay, I think we should stop here because in the style of my talking, I have spoken too much. So we'll take the remaining shlokas in the next session. We'll stop here. I want to take one more slok. Sahajang Karmakwanti Sajosmatajin Sarva Ramay Dushana Dhyame Nagari Varda. But that will start in the next session. Thanks so much for your patience. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thanks so much, respected Vikas ji, Vaidya Bhayaji. As always, that was definitely a truly enlightening session. We extend our sincere gratitude to you, Bhayaji. I know we already some hands are raised. Before we get to that, just a quick announcement for those who might have missed it in the beginning. Elvar grammar sessions are scheduled for tomorrow in different languages. You can attend the session either at 9 a.m. IST or 11 a.m. IST, depending on the language of your choice. So learning a little bit of Samskrita grammatical aspects relevant to Gita Pariwar, not relevant to Gita Pariwar, Gita chanting will definitely help us. And the celebration of Gita Jayanti, which is held annually on the Shukla Ekadashi of Margashira Masa, is being marked by Gita Pariwar with a special divine Mahotsava from November 15, that is today, Utpanna Ekadashi, all the way to December 31st. Arambhotsava was held today on this auspicious day with Sampurna Parana in the morning. And there is another session scheduled at 7:30 p.m. IST as well. And we can also join the festivities by hosting local events like Gita Parayana, Shobha Yatra, quiz, painting, all different things related to Gita. And you can register that event on the official online portal, geetajayanti.com. Also, please plan on being a part of Gita Parivar's online Gita Parayana as well. So you will be getting the links every day. So now it's time for Q&A, and people already know what to do. Please raise your hand if possible, turn on the video so you can ask Bhayaji your question. Yes, Achyuta Nandjha Bhayaji. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna. My question is that Gita part is a very holy part. Now, there are occasions when Asauch is performed in the families. So during that Asauch, can we chant Gita?
Asauch means death of somebody or something?
Yes, exactly. Death or birth in the family.
Yeah. So when you have that death or birth, it is even better to chant Gita.
Okay.
Yeah. Gita chanting is a must during the first 10 days of somebody's death for his smooth passage of the soul. Particularly Adhyay 8, Akshar Brahma Yoga, we must read as many times as possible.
Okay.
So Gita chanting, Gita reading is very preferred, very recommended during the first 10 days of somebody's passing away.
Okay. No, people say that holy, like puja part and japa, etc., should not be done during this period. That's why I asked.
Puja part, okay, we are not doing puja part, but chanting Gita is definitely recommended.
Okay.
We are not touching the God, but we can speak. We talk many other things, no? When in the first 10 days, when somebody is born or somebody is dead in the family, do we stop talking? No, we don't stop talking.
No,
so when we keep talking, why not to talk something very auspicious, very good?
Okay.
At least remembering the soul which has departed. We'll do it all for. That's why in Gita Pariwar we have a Apadamba Bhartaram group. In Gita Pariwar we have group Apadama Bhartaram.
Okay.
So we want to take away the apadas of people by chanting Gita for them. People who are terminally sick, or people who are sick, or people who have passed away, for them we do Gita Parayana in Gita Pariwar.
Okay. Nice to hear. It's a system here, no? Very good.
We have a group called Apadama Bhartaram.
Oh, very good. Nice. Thanks a lot for this.
Okay, thank you.
Swati ji Didi, Jai Shri Krishna. Please, you can go ahead.
Jai Shri Krishna Didi. I want to ask that how the Maya originates, how the curious mixture of Sattva, Raja, Tamoguna, how it works. First, the Maya originates. From the Maya, they operate in their manner and according to the personal nature, the dharma of that person. So how the Maya comes to our life. Then I want that wisdom from you.
Okay, for that we must refer to Adhyay 7. Adhyay 7, God has said that this para and apara prakriti. We read about para and apara prakriti in Adhyay 7. What is para prakriti and what is apara prakriti? भूमिरापो नलो वायो खम मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहंकार इति यम में भिन्ना प्रकृतिरष्टधा. This is Ashtadha Prakriti. Bhumi and the Panchama that means man, buddhi, ahankar. These 8 things make the apara prakriti. And what is para prakriti? Apare me sanyam prakritim viddhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho ye dandharyate jagat. So this para prakriti of Paramatma is dharam, is holding the apara prakriti. So this eightfold prakriti, what we read, Bhumi Rapo Nalo Vayu Kamanu Buddhirevacha, is apara prakriti of God, and the para prakriti of God is holding this apara prakriti. Now what is Maya in all this? This apara prakriti is the Maya of Paramatma. Apara prakriti, that means the prakriti, and the Purush is the para prakriti. Purush is holding the Maya, Purush is holding the prakriti. Like the soul is holding the body. If the soul leaves the body, will the body remain? Similarly, in Adhyay there is a slok. Mattah paradarannanyat kinchid asti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva. This para prakriti is holding the apara prakriti, and this is an example that a mala, in mala there is a thread inside, and all the beads are woven around that thread. If you take out that thread, what will happen? All the beads will fall down instantly. So this para prakriti is holding the apara prakriti. Though both are God's prakriti only, one is para prakriti, one is apara prakriti. Now God has created this apara prakriti, in that these 3 gunas are there. And God has further said that all these 3 gunas, ye chaiva sattvika bhava rajasas tamasashte matta evaditan vidhi natvahan tershite mai. These 3 gunas come from me only. But they are not in me, and I am not in them. They just happen like a natural karma from God. Creation of these 3 gunas, Sat, Parjo, Tamo. And that is a part of apara prakriti of God. And since we are under the prakriti, we are under the nature, these 3 gunas automatically come under all such things which are under prakriti. So when we are born as human beings, we are under prakriti. Only one thing in us is belonging to God, that is our soul. Lest our Shri, Indriya, Man and Buddhi, they all belong to prakriti. And prakriti is Trigulatmak, Sat, Parjo, Tamo. So automatically we get governed by these 3 gunas of prakriti, Sat, Parjo, Tamo. The soul is not affected by these 3. Soul is a fragment of God, Mamai Maushu Jiva Loke. So that fragment of God, the soul that we are real is often forgotten. And we start believing, I am Shri, I am Indriya, I am Man, I am Buddhi. And then we get entangled in playing with these 3 gunas of Prakriti, Sat, Parjo, Tamo. We keep dancing to the tunes of these 3 gunas for the whole of our life. When we are doing Sattvic Karma, we feel elated. Oh, I have done great job. Then you want to enjoy something. Then you go to Rajasi Guna. Then sometimes to Tamasi Guna. Then we start repenting. Then we again come back to Sattva Guna. So this cycle of Sattva-Rajatamo keeps playing music with us for the whole of our life. And we don't become Gunatit. We don't come out of this trap of these 3 gunas. The soul wants to come out of this trap of 3 gunas of Prakriti. That means the Maya. But it is unable to come. Because it has become a part, it has become the owner of the body. He says, I am the body, I am the Shri, I am the Man, I am the Indriya. If you are claiming that you are all that, then you face the consequences. So these 3 gunas, the only way to get moksha or mukti is to become gunatit, to go beyond these 3 gunas. We learn in 14th Adhyaya that even Sattva Guna puts us under bondage. If you want to become bondage free, then you have to become gunatit. How to become gunatit? Do everything as per your prescribed duty without claiming the ownership of duty. Kartrutva Abhiman. Give up Kartrutva Abhiman and give up the Karma Phala Apeksha. no expectation of return or reward of your karma. So these two things if we do in life, our karma becomes a karma, that means which does not put us under bondage. Whether it is sattvic, rajasic or tamasic. Kartrutva abhiman and karma phala. These two things we have to give up. If we give up these two things, our karma becomes a karma, and then we become bondage free, we become gunatit. And gunatit, we get qualified for moksha. We get qualified for liberation. So these three gunas are part of Prakriti Maya. And that's why they govern us, because we are part of Maya only. We are created by Prakriti. As I said, body, mind, intellect come from Maya, Prakriti.
Really, this is the sadhana of life. This
Yes,
is our real sadhana, to be aware every moment of our attitude, of our emotion, of our ego,
Yeah.
and to get rid of and to overcome that by
Yeah, see,
realizing, not by we think that we can submit our bad qualities, but without realization that can't happen for long. So we
yeah,
must realize,
yes, exactly.
and
And
this
to realize
liberation
it,
is
the best way to realize it is to sit for meditation every day. At least for 10,
meditation.
15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever time you can. Sit for meditation, take 2, 3 deep breathings, become, that makes your mind still, and then focus. You have to go beyond three bodies that we have: Sthul Sharir, Sukshma Sharir, and Karan Sharir. Gross body, subtle body, and causal body. So we have to cross over these three bodies and reach to the Atma level. How to do that? Sit for meditation. As I said, take 2, 3 deep breathings and then start feeling your body. Your legs are touching the earth. Your hands are touching each other, or they are on the armrest of your chair. When you are breathing, your stomach is going up, down, go up, down, lungs, chest moving here and there, nose taking the air, ears are hearing sound around. So focus on every fragment, every part of your body. And at the end, say to yourself, am I this body? Then you'll find your own answer. No, I'm not body. I'm observing this body. I'm a witness to this body. I'm not body. Then go to the next level. That means you're not gross body. Then go to the next level. Next level is our mind, intellect. The thinking that comes to our mind is through our Sukshma Sharir. Now start thinking. Whatever my thoughts are coming to my mind, sometimes disturbing thoughts, sometimes very happy thoughts. Thoughts come and go, come and go. Isn't it? Like the clouds come and go in the sky. So focus on your thoughts and then realize yourself, say to yourself mentally, am I these thoughts? Am I this mind? They're coming and going. I'm not that. I'm observing those thoughts. I'm a witness to my thoughts and my mind. I'm not that. So you're not Sukshma Sharir also. You have gone beyond Sukshma Sharir. Then comes the causal body, the Karan Sharir. Karan Sharir is the holder of our past samskars. It's like a seed of our this janma, this life. It holds holds our record of our past samskars. Whatever we are doing today is because of the records in our causal body, in past samskars. So our Sukshma Sharir, it gets instructions from causal body based on our samskars. The intellect gets the feedback from causal body. The intellect orders the mind to work as per the intellect, and the mind instructs the senses. So causal body is the current sharir, is the one from where everything originates. Now think, whatever I am doing today is a past record of mine, past sanskars. So I am observing my past sanskars and my Sukshma Sharir is executing those orders. Am I my causal body? Am I that current Sharir which is doing this recording? No, I am not current Sharir also. So I have gone beyond current Sharir. Then what am I? I am not gross body. I am not subtle body. I am not causal body. मैं स्थूल शरीर नहीं हूँ, मैं सूक्ष्म शरीर नहीं हूँ, मैं कारण शरीर नहीं हूँ, फिर मैं क्या हूँ? I am a soul which gives chetana, prana to all these three bodies. So you got to that level then. Once you go to that level, then you start experiencing what real mental peace is. And once you make this habit of meditation every day for a few months, you will come out of your I am body feeling, I am intellect feeling. So Gita teaches us these wonderful principles as to how to come out of this I am body feeling. And when you come out of I am body feeling, you come out of Maya automatically. Isn't it? Our body, our mind, our intellect is Maya. You want to penetrate through that Maya and reach up to the God. This is the way to penetrate that Maya and go to the soul, Atma Jnana.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you. Really, really enlightening explanation you have given. Thank you, Bhaiya. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
So well explained, Bhayaji, connecting everything into the yogic principles also. It's really the dharana, dhyana, really. Thank you so much. Kalpana ji Didi, Jai Shri Krishna, please go ahead.
Jai Shri Krishna Bhaiya.
Jai Shri Krishna.
My question is related to verse 14 of this chapter only.
Okay.
Adhisthanan tatha karta karnan cha prithak vidam vividhash cha prithak cheshta daiven chaivatra panchamam.
Right.
So my question is, like today you spoke and we listened.
Yeah.
You gave the vivechan and we listened. So who is karta in you and in us?
I am doing the karma of speaking. You are doing the karma of hearing. Both are
Yeah,
karta.
that is fine. Like karma is clear, karana is clear, prithak vida cheshta is also clear, daiva is also clear, but who is karta?
Karta is the one who is doing that karma. In this case, I am doing the karma of speaking. You are doing the karma of hearing. So we both are kartas.
But who in that? Karta. Like soul cannot be karta because it is alipt, it is just one hetu, है ना? And karan जो बोलने का है वो karan तो इंद्रियां हो गया, वो तो karan में आ गया. चेष्टा जो बोलने का काम किया वो उसमें पृथक विधा चेष्टा में आ गया. चेष्टा वो चेष्टा हो गया. और जो जिससे हमने बोला, हमने सुना, करण वो करण में हो गया. और अधिष्ठान ये प्लेटफॉर्म हो गया, शरीर हो गया जहां से बोला. बट इसमें फिर कर्ता मतलब जो मैं समझी क्या जो त्रिगुणात्मक प्रकृति है वो कर्ता होगी.
नहीं त्रिगुणात्मक प्रकृति कर्ता नहीं होती. त्रिगुणात्मक प्रकृति सत्वर जो तमो इज ओनली डिक्टेट्स व्हाट एक्शन वी टेक, व्हाट कर्म वी डू, दैट इज डिक्टेटेड बाय त्रिगुणात्मक प्रकृति. आवर माइंड बिकम्स द कर्ता. Our mind which gets instructions from the intellect is grasping what I am saying. Okay, whatever is coming out of my intellect is coming in my mind. My mind is speaking through my tongue. It is coming to your intellect. Your intellect is analyzing, feeding it to your mind, and then you are asking me a question. This is the cycle.
तो ठीक है, बट मन बुद्धि तो फिर करण में आ गया ना.
हाँ तो इसमें मन बुद्धि नहीं, सेंसेस करण में आते हैं. ज्ञानेंद्रिय और कर्मेंद्रिय ये सेंसेस, ये करण है. मन बुद्धि अहंकार, इट बिकम्स अ पार्ट ऑफ अंतःकरण, एंड दैट अंतःकरण इज द कर्ता.
तो इसमें अंतःकरण करता हो गया ना.
हाँ, अंतःकरण करता है.
को हम कर्ता कह सकते हैं, है ना.
हाँ, अंतःकरण को कर्ता कह सकते हैं.
ठीक है, थैंक यू.
सेंसेस है. हाँ, करण जो है वो सेंसेस है. 5 ज्ञानेंद्रिय 5 ज्ञानेंद्रिय.
करण सेंसेस हो गया. और जो बोलने का और सुनने का जो काम है वो चेष्टा हो गया. और दैव हो गया जो हमारे पिछले संस्कार है जो हम लाइक रिकॉर्डिंग लास्ट बर्थ का जो लेके आए हैं उसके हिसाब से, बिकॉज हम गीता पढ़ रहे थे, कुछ संस्कार था तो वो दैव हो गया.
करेक्ट. दैट इज प्रारब्ध. यस,
या दैट इज प्रारब्ध. थैंक यू.
Yeah. No, any other questions? If it is, please raise the hand. Otherwise, we will no questions in the chat box either. So I think we will move ahead. Yes. Thank you so much to our tech star today, Anshuman, Saini ji, Bhaiya ji, and our for coordinating the entire session so nicely, and our entire technical team and all the devotees who attended this session. So let us all continue our Gita sadhana and attend these sessions regularly to enrich our spiritual knowledge. May the Gita be our life guide. Let us thank Bhagavan Shri Krishna, without whose help, we are all nimitta matra, as Bhagavan Shri Krishna says in the Gita. So let us thank the Bhagavan for guiding us all along and for making this session successful. To do the prarthana, we have Srimati Madhavi Lataji with us, and she is a working professional from Telangana, associated with Geeta Pariwar since April 2024. Didiji is already doing seva as a GC mentor, tech star, CT, and a member of content forwarding and calling and support teams. Jai Shri Krishna, Madhavi, Lataji, Didi, I request you to recite the prayer.
योगेशं सच्चिदानन्दं वासुदेवं व्रजप्रियं धर्मसंस्थापकं वीरं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you, Didi, for the beautiful prayer. Really appreciate it. Yes. Now.
We can close Hanuman Chalisa, will not be there.
Let us all, chant Hanuman Chalisa and seek the blessings of Lord Hanumanji.
दीदी हनुमान चालीसा नहीं होगी आज अभी इसमें कुछ अभी आगे के मीटिंग का शेड्यूल है.
Oh, okay, Bhayaji. Yes, okay. So let us just chant the shloka of Bhagavan Hanuman. Buddhir balam yashodhairyam. Buddhir balam yashodhairyam. So I do remember, but for some reason it's not come. 1 second.
Okay, we'll say simple slok from Ram Raksha.
Yes.
मनोजवमारुतुल्य वेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूतमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शरणं प्रपद्ये.
Thank you, Bhayaji. So I'll just complete it now. I just got it. Buddhir balam yashodhairyam nirbhayatvam arogatam ajadyam vakpadatvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Thank you so much, Bhayaji. Yes, Jai Shri